Year seems to be the time when a lot of luxury makeup brands start dropping new lip releases. So this year's no different. I'm going to walk you through some of the new releases from brands such as Dior, YSL, as well as Shu Uemura. Let's start with YSL. Now, this is not a new formulation release. YSL is just introducing a line of kind of like dried reddy brown tones in celebration of the upcoming Chinese New Year. Now, I'm not certain if these colors are already in the permanent lineup in other markets, but for Singapore and I think some parts of Asia, this is kind of being introduced right now as a Chinese New Year release. Now, I have 4 of the Volupte Shine lip shades. I'm going to lip swatch all of these for you so you can compare the colors and undertones. I would describe these not as brick tones, but more as dried fruit colors. You have some pink tones in here, so it's more of a dried strawberry, dried raspberry kind of shade. You have dried plum. You also have a dried tomato kind of color. I wouldn't see this as a red or brick tone collection necessarily. One other reason I'm always excited to see new colors in this line, I actually love using these as cream blushes. Now they have that translucency and that dewiness that works really well when you want to blend it out on your cheeks. It gives that beautiful kind of sweaty, dewy gleam. It's not patchy. It's very easy to blend out even if you're using a slightly deeper shade just because of how transparent they are. On one cheek, I am wearing 124, which is what I call a soft dried rose tone. And on the other, I'm going the opposite spectrum and I'm using this sun-dried tomato color 131. Now, Dior, on the other hand, has revamped and updated their entire Rouge Dior line. You will be able to recognize it by this monogram on the front, the CD. This is made to look like one of their belts. Besides the original satin and matte formulas, they've also now added a metallic as well as a velvet formula. The metallic formula is very similar to the creamy satin ones, except that they are shot through with pearl, so there's a little bit more dimension when they're on your lips. Both of these are quite smoothing and hydrating on the lips, so if you don't like a dry feel, then these are the 2 formulas for you. Having said that, it's not like the classic matte formula is drying on the lips. These have a very buttery, rich feel. They do melt on and they're very pigment dense. They don't reflect much light on the lips, hence the matte finish, but they don't feel particularly drying. The new velvet formula was the one that I was excited to try because I always like myself a little bit of drama in the lip department, and nothing says drama as much as the ultra matte finish. Now you will be able to tell these 2 apart by looking at the finish. This is a regular matte, it still has a bit of a sheen, and this is the velvet. It's made in those kind of molds that give it that textured, almost suede-like surface. Texture and formula wise, I wouldn't say these are the same as the Lisa Eldridge True Velvet lipsticks. Lisa Eldridge's lipsticks are very much more buttery and not quite as flat matte. They remind me very much more of the classic matte formula. This, I would say, is more of a cross between Pat McGrath Matte Trans lipsticks and MAC Powder Kiss lipsticks. They're a little bit denser than the MAC ones, but not quite as drying or as thick as the Pat McGraths, if that makes sense. As you can see, I'm wearing the Velvet formula in their classic red shade 999, and it has pretty much zero shine. If you like that really shine-free but kind of light texture of some higher-end matte liquid lipsticks, but you don't want something that's so hardcore and hard to remove, then I would say this is a very good alternative. I have very dry lips and I've worn this out a couple of times. While I wouldn't say it's hydrating in terms of, adding moisture back and plumping up my lips, it's not going to do that. I also do not find this to be drying. It's not going to parch your lips too much. So it's very comfortable, it's very lightweight to wear. It doesn't crust up. There's no weird texture after eating or drinking, and the color doesn't change. So when it comes to high-end lipsticks, this is definitely near the top of my list right now. Last but not least, one of my favorite brands when it comes to high-end lip colors, Shu Uemura. Now they have dropped not one, not two, but 3 new formulations this year, and you have the Rouge Unlimited liquid lacquers, liquid mattes, and these metallic lipsticks for the new year. Now this is limited edition. The liquids are permanent. The metallic lipsticks for New Year come in limited edition print and packaging, obviously. What you need to remember is both of these are metallic mattes, so you're not going to get that very high shine finish. This is more of a very subtle kind of a glow around the lips. The good news is if you're out eating and drinking during the Chinese New Year, these are likely to last. Now this shade, BR786, is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I would suggest picking out a color just based on the shade that you like and not based on the finish, because similar to the glitter mattes from last year's Chinese New Year collection, the texture, the metallic pearl in this is extremely subtle. There is a little bit more depth and dimension to the color on the lips, but it's not really metallic, if you know what I mean. On to the 2 liquid lipsticks. Now, the moment I swatched these on the back of my hand, the first thing I thought of was YSL. Very similar to the YSL lacquers and the Tatouage Couture matte stains. Well, Shu Uemura and YSL both belong to L'Oreal, so I wouldn't be surprised if these formulas were almost the same. Even the doe foot applicator looks similar and works similarly. I have 6 shades with me today, 3 lacquer and 3 matte, and these 100% will leave a stain on your lips after you remove them. So in order to keep my lip swatches as accurate looking as possible for you guys, I'm gonna be doing sort of half lacquer and half matte for each of these shades, just so at the most I'm only going through 3 layers of color. Hopefully that's not going to affect the accuracy of the lip swatches too much. Now, one thing to note about these, the scent is pretty strong and pretty floral, so if you cannot stand strong fragrances in your lip products or any kind of scent that smells more like perfume than dessert, you may not like these. Otherwise, don't really have much else to say about these. They are exactly what you would expect, especially if you've already used or tried a lot of the YSL lacquers and liquid lipsticks. Now, even if you like and own some of the YSL ones, I would still highly suggest going to take a look at the Shu colors if you have a chance, simply because Shu is very, very good at doing all those ultra flattering in-between tones, you know, like brownie rose, peachy beige, reddy orange, that sort of a thing. I find a lot of their colors extremely flattering, whether you're Asian or not. I don't think that matters. What matters is there's always sort of a nice cocktail of different pigments and tones in there, so that, you know, they kind of brighten and flatter a lot of skin undertones. And that's it for today. I hope this gave you a good overview of some of the new releases, formulations, and colors that are on the market right now, especially if you have a weak spot for high-end lipsticks like I do. As always, if you've tried any of these, like them, dislike them, let us know in the comments below. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video.